Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Zach Lesage back here at the Rare Candy TCG YouTube channel, and today we're going to be doing over a testing ground video featuring myself and Michelle Babin. We're going to be going over the Stonjourner VMAX vs Polteageist deck, and we actually received the Polteageist deck kind of suggestion from one of our patron GX members, Gyro-Sean. So we wanted to make sure that we could show this deck in action, especially based off of their suggestion. So if you want to do the same, you can go to patreon.com/rarecandy and put your suggestions out there. Really help support our channel. So jumping into this game, I'm rolling, and you can see I tried to place it as much as possible, so we know that I'm going first. And we'll see exactly how it goes here. Looks like Michelle got a basic. And I think right now, if I remember correctly, I'm waiting to see exactly if I got a basic. Or that I didn't get a basic, sorry. And that I was just going to see exactly if she could play any more basic Pokemon down. And that's usually the correct way to play it as well if you're playing in real life. I know a lot of my other videos have been PTC Geo driven. So, let's see exactly what we get here. So I'm just going to continuously shuffle. I know it's a new deck, just built these not too long ago, and I've taken pictures of them for my Google Drive, so I wanted to make sure it was really all settled up. So we got there, and I got a hand of 7. Okay, so gotta getting the prize cards all set up, and in this matchup it's going to be really interesting because we have the Stonjourner VMAX with a lot of HP. And then we have the Sinistea that can do a lot, or sorry, the Polteageist that can do a lot of damage. So shake hands, wish them good luck, and I'm gonna go first. Looking through my hand, seeing exactly what I can do. So I'm gonna go with the Indeedee V, and that's gonna allow me to heal my Pokemon. It's pretty tanky. And here's actually, I got a little bit excited because I was like, oh cool, I can play my supporter, and I'm like, I'm not gonna shuffle. New rules. So Michelle actually caught that for me, and I was like, oh, I need to shuffle my deck, my bad. You can't play supporters on the first turn. It's got the new first turn rules that have been confirmed by Pokemon. So doing that there, I felt so awful, because I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to know exactly what's going on in these games, but all I could do there was pass to Michelle. And we'll see exactly what she has. She started with the Gengar Mimikyu, which is a tech that we play in this deck. Just to have more HP, and it also has the Horror House GX. You can see I'm reading the Blaine's Quiz Show. So the fun fact about Blaine's Quiz Show is if your opponent gets us right, they're the ones that draw the 4 cards, so it can add up for the Poltergeist attacks that we have going on in this deck. So it creates pretty cool, and if they get it wrong, or if they purposely get it wrong, you're drawing 4 cards. So Eric and I, when we were discussing this deck, we thought it'd be a pretty cool way to either draw cards or not. You can see here as my opponent shuffles, Michelle shuffles, I'm going to tap her deck, shuffle her deck, or cut her deck. I always try to mix it up as well, just to make the games the absolute most fair, and I do that with any opponent at all. And I'm just double checking the Gengar. I'm like, wait, what does it only do for 1 energy? So I don't draw any cards, and I can't play any cards from my hand. So effectively with the first turn supporter rule, I did nothing, and then with the Horror House GX, I did nothing. So Michelle's getting all set up here. She evolves into a Polteageist, spell tag on there. So for a single prize card Pokemon, it certainly can pack a punch, especially if your opponent's a little bit unsuspecting of what Poltergeist does. So they could get some big knockouts if they don't actively play down their cards. Now there are cards in the deck like Surprise Box, Marnie, Blaine's Quiz Show, and Lavender Town that we use to try to get the effect off as much as possible. So here she's just shuffling. I'm like, nope, we're just gonna tap. And we'll see how she plays this one out. Getting a Jirachi, makes the deck pretty consistent. Think she's probably gonna go for the Poltergeist on the Gengar Mimikyu. Just deciding on what to do here. So I had, it's gonna do 200 damage there, which is pretty huge. I was a little bit worried at this point because doing 200 damage to a Pokemon that only has 220 HP can be crazy. So, I'm going to draw for my turn. I'm going to go the Air Balloon to give the Indeedee that has 2 retreat cost 2 less retreat. So it gives me a good pivot point. And I am able to evolve here. So my goal this turn is to get 2 fighting energies, 1 to attach for my turn, and 1 so I could use the first attack to heal 120. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and play the Cynthia that I've effectively had since turn 1. Couldn't play it on the first turn with the new supporter rule change. And couldn't play it turn 2 because of the Horror House GX. So seeing if I can get some fighting energies here, doing a really good shuffle. Pass it, and Michelle's just going to cut right there, and let's see what we can get here. So we got, I can see 1 fighting energy there. Put on a giant charm to give myself 30 HP, bringing me up to 360 HP. So I'm going to heal with the Indeedee to put me at 180. I'm going to attach a fighting for my turn. And you can see that I have another fighting energy in my hand. I'm just going to use Pokegear first, just in case I don't get something. So we can see that I've properly wasted the Pokegear 3.0, just so that the Poltergeist attacks are going to do less damage. I want to have less trainers in my hand overall. And there's another fighting, and I'm just going to heal the 120 damage there. So I'm getting set up for next turn. The goal of this deck is just to heal and then become a tank, and then heal, attack, heal, attack, heal, attack. And it's been getting set up really nicely. You can attack with Indeedee V. Wow, there's sometimes it's a tongue twister. And here we almost catch Michelle doing a mistake with the Marnie. It's a really weird card interaction. You actually shuffle your hands. So we're both passing our hands to cuts, and then we put them at the bottom of the deck, and then she's going to draw 5, I'm going to draw 4, because Marnie is the player who played it, draws 5. So kind of a really weird judge. In this deck, it works really cool because if your opponent's been thinning their deck out of trainer cards, maybe they don't have any in their hand, but they'll just draw into some. So there's Lavender Town. Lavender Hand just lets me pick. And I'm like, are you serious? You can see my hand shaking. I'm like, did I actually just draw a bunch of fighting energies? So unfortunately, for Michelle's deck, it's not going to do too much at all. It doesn't look like she'll be able to take a knockout here. I think she's just like, I really wasn't expecting you to get 4 fighting energies either. Hopefully you don't top deck anything there, Zach. So here, got the Mysterious Treasure. Looks like she's just going to get set up a little bit more, getting out a Malamar. So evolving the Ditto. The Malamar really helps the Polteageist kind of build up. So you send up Jirachi, attach the energies, and you can continuously cycle things like that. I'm just going to cut her deck there for good measure. And she's just going to go into a retreat into a Jirachi, try to get set up a little bit more. Makes a lot of sense, just so that the Gengar Mimikyu GX isn't going to take damage to do basically nothing, because it would just, she'd have to pass anyways. And with the way that the deck works with Malamar, she could always get back the energies as necessary. So she's going to go Pokemon Communication, get out another Malamar. So you can see that her board's fully set up. The only thing that she could do is evolve that Sinistea on her bench. But chilling with a 0-card hand there. Unfortunate for her. So all she has to do here, she didn't really get anything to kind of build up her next turn. And she's just going to roll, and she's awake. Okay, so I ended up top decking a Pokegear, which was super nice. I was super excited about that because I was like, come on, please don't give me any more fighting energies. And I don't know why I'm shuffling here. I probably should have, probably just should have waited. So there's a fighting energy, and there's a Cynthia. So I'm all fully powered up with my attack to be able to do 200 damage, which will knock out most of the cards that are featured into the Polteageist deck. So we'll see there. She's just not going to cut. And there's another Indeedee V, another Stonjourner V. Here I just want to heal off 40 damage. And I'm just going to be like, attack. So I have 340 HP remaining, so you can see how tanky this deck is. It kind of reminds me of like Primal Groudon vibes, where you just build it up and you have healing and you're just kind of a big tank. It's worth a few prize cards, but having 360 HP is like huge. And the fact that it has energy acceleration and healing built in, it's a pretty awesome effect. So here you can see with her 0 card hand, she top decked Professor Elms. Cool thing about Professor Elms, since the Sinisties have 30 HP and the Polteageist have 60 HP, she can fully get them out with Professor Elms. Now she's going to look at my hands, see that I have 4 in there, and she could hit me for 200 damage. So I'm going to be at 220 damage effectively. So I'll pick up for my turn. And we did get a Stonjourner VMAX there. And I just wanted to tag call. Tag call is really cool in this deck because you can get Mallow Lana. Mallow Lana bounce back into an Air Balloons Indeedee V. And on the plus side in this matchup, you can also discard trainer cards. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm already going to be discarding some cards. Let's go Mallow Lana here. So I'm going to put those cards into my hands. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use the Mallow Lana. Discarding a switch and a reset stamp. Cards that really don't matter. Heal the 120. Switch into an Air Balloons Indeedee V. Lavender Town. Look at what she's got going on. Then I'm going to retreat back. I was debating not using the Quick Ball that turn because I didn't want to get rid of the Aurora energy. But I was like, you want to know what? I'm a little bit worried about how much damage that Michelle could actually be doing in this matchup. So I'd rather just get the extra 20 heal. Because healing 60, I healed 180 damage this turn. I can imagine how frustrating this is to play against, especially when you have, you're just doing chip damage each turn and I'm just blowing it off. So you can see I've drawn 4 prize cards here, or 2 prize cards. Michelle's at 6, and I just wanted to show with, in case anyone's a little bit newer to the game, that the spell tag was the one. It's placing 4 damage counters and I'm knocking it out. Another cool thing about this list is I have the giant bomb that can do some extra damage there, and then she's just looking at my hands and using tea time because she was not able to get enough energy into play. So I'm gonna draw for my turn. Fortunately, since she didn't get a knockout, I'm just gonna go for a Quick Ball. And I'm going to get out my 4th Indeedee V. With myself having 80 damage on my active, I'm going to heal everything this turn and putting myself back down at 0. Which just means that everything that Michelle has done since the beginning of the game has now been effectively null and void. So it just shows that Stonjourner, it's going to be very difficult for her to get 300, to be able to do 360 damage. And I'm getting back a Mallow Lana to be like, cool, next turn I could heal 200. So I'm attaching to another Stonjourner, getting it built up. I'm going to heal all 4. And I did my math incorrectly there for half a second. She's just like, that wasn't a 6, that was a 4. And I'm like, knockout. So effectively, I'm fully powered up. Nothing's getting done there. And you can see that she's getting kind of struggling to see exactly where her end goal is here. Because even if she were to knock out my active somehow, I would just have another one out there. So it might be a little bit more of a one-sided matchup than we originally thought. Not to say that Polteageist doesn't have an opportunity to do well here. But yeah, it can be a little bit difficult at times to do a lot of damage, especially like 360 is a lot to ask for any deck. I could be playing Ability Zard, I could be playing Cinderace, a lot of decks. So there we go. And that's tea time. Or drawing for my turn, one or the other. Just getting set up here as much as possible, organizing my bench a little bit. And it's one of those things where I just kind of want to blow through and kind of attack, but I also want to make sure that I'm playing down as many trainers as possible. So you can see I just want to stop the Lavender Town. I don't really care what Michelle has in her hand at this point, unfortunately, because my deck is playing with itself. Just grabbing other things. I could put another air balloon down on one of the Pokemon, so if she plays a Marnie, I won't be able to draw into it, or if I play she plays a Blaine's Quiz Show, even if I somehow guess correctly, it's not going to be terrible for me. So there's an Aurora Energy. I have to discard a card from my hand in order to play that. I'm going to discard a Cynthia. Put another air balloon down. Replace that, so I'm going to be doing 210 damage. And I'm just playing down the cards in my hand, whittling them down as much as possible. So now I'm at 2 prize cards left, and this is where she's going to go with the Gengar Mimikyu, because it's a little bit more worthwhile at that point. So I'm feeling pretty good because I have 2 fully built up Stonjourners, or I guess one's almost fully built up, and I got a fully built up one in the active position. 0 damage in play, and I'm not really expecting her to do too much more damage. However, this deck could pop up at any given time and use Surprise Box. She's got a Baby Bullcephalon there, so you can spread some damage if she really wants. And there's 3 there, so there's going to be 150 damage. And I'm going to draw for my turn. Let's see if I can heal this all off again. So there's an energy right there. So now both Stonjourner VMAX are fully powered up. There's a Mallow Lana. I'm just going to go 120 heal, heal back, and then I'm going to heal with the Indeedee Vs. And I'm going to swing for 190 because Gengar Mimikyu has resistance there. And she's just going to be like, at this point, I wouldn't know what I would do. She could always retreat and try to preserve the game another turn. Yeah, she's just getting nothing from there. So that's what we got for the first game here. So I was able to win that one pretty convincingly. Looks like she got off to like a little bit of a weird start. That's okay too. So we'll see exactly how the next game goes. It's a little bit, if it's any different at all. So here we're just getting set up for the second game. We can see that Michelle's going first. And it's a weird kind of call to go first. We're still determining if it's better to go first or second during the new first turn supporter rule that's introduced in Sword and Shield. So basically, she decided, yeah, let's go first. Won't be able to play a supporter, but I'll be able to evolve my Sinistea into a Polteageist and my Inkay into a Malamar quicker than Zach can, considering I'm also playing an evolution deck, and I don't necessarily need a supporter on the first turn. It's not a bad call on her behalf, and again, something like, it's going to be something to figure out. I don't see any reason entirely why a player would want, like, it's tough to go either way. I'm sure we'll figure it out on the channel sooner than later. Okay, so I'm just shuffling here. And Michelle's just going to give my deck a quick little cut. And we'll see exactly what we can get going. Okay, so I got no basics. I'm sure if that was a hand that she was using Poltergeist, it'd be a big attack. 350 damage to be certain. And I'm just giving my deck a quick shuffle, as quick as possible. Trying to get this deck really well mixed, because that was a whole hand filled with trainer cards. And still shuffling. There we go. She's like, we'll cut it right there. Alrighty. So, just looking to see exactly what my options are, I think it's better to start with the Stonjourner there. Stonjourner's pretty good, and considering she's going first, I guess it's better to put a Pokemon down. However, I guess you don't need to worry about turn 1 Judge now that I'm looking at it after the fact. So, Drachi starts really good for her. There's a Mysterious Treasure. Probably going to search out a Sinistea. And, oh, that actually looks like it's a Polteageist. I think I actually remember this moment when we were playing the game, and I was like, you know, that's the basic one, or the stage 1 one, right? But she ended up just having a bunch of Pokemon in her hand. So that worked out really nice. So there's a Blaine's Quiz Show that she has for next turn. And it's really a difficult decision to decide what you want to do when you're playing against a Blaine's Quiz Show here. Whenever your opponent gets a chance to play it, that is. Just because it's like, do you want to draw the cards? Are you greedy? Or do you want to let your opponent draw the cards? So it's a weird on and off switch where sure you could play to like stop your opponent. Here I had a lot of, anyways, jumping back into the game, I had a weird hand and I'm like, I'll just get rid of this Giant Bomb. It's a card that we didn't see played first turn, and it's not much of a common card. It's cool because your opponent can, if they do 180 damage or more, which basically if they were to put me into a knockout range, I could do 100 damage to them, which would, and then I knock out a Polteageist. So I'm just like, whatever, attach an energy, let's go for the Giant Bomb just to protect myself. I could draw a prize card if worst comes to worst, start that race. And yep, just getting another one set up in the anticipation that I could get knocked out, getting rid of some trainer cards. And I just want to get out more Indeedee Vs in this matchup. Overall in the strategy, I just want to build up a huge tanky Pokemon and play my trainer cards down as much as possible. Alrighty. And I'm hitting Michelle for 40. The first attack that we didn't see again in the last game. It does 40 damage and it reduces damage by 20 for that specific turn. So I feel pretty safe, especially with having a relatively low hand size. Okay. She's just giving her deck a good shuffle there. And this is where she's just like, how can I get the knockouts? And that's going to be the biggest issue with Polteageist or any deck that's similar to this. I know we've seen some success with Gengar Mimikyu Omastar decks, but that's because it's a basic Pokemon. This is a stage 1 Pokemon. So until we get more cards that can manipulate our opponent's hands, you can see that she's just going for the flip, and I'm just double checking the Giant Bomb does get discarded at the end of my opponent's turn. So it's difficult to make Polteageist do the right amount of damage, especially in a format where there's these new VMAX Pokemon that have seemingly infinite HP. So let's see, just playing another Cynthia here. I'm big chillin'. I don't really have much to worry about. And it's unfortunate that I have a GX attack, or that I'm not able to use a GX attack in this deck. I don't actually think in the list there is a single GX Pokemon off the top of my head. Evolution Incense, new card here, just going to search out for a Stonjourner VMAX. Want to make sure that my Pokemon are able to get evolved. It's a great way for me to get HP into play. So you can see that I have Pokegear here. Just trying to waste cards so that the Polteageist can do less damage, Gengar Mimikyu can do less damage. And whether or not, I'm just trying to, like, the more odds that I can get of just reducing trainer cards in my deck. I don't want to draw into them if she plays a Blaine's Quiz Show, if she plays a Marnie. Just want to get over that as quickly as possible. And here I'm debating, do I want to evolve my active? And like, ultimately, yes, I want it to have a lot of HP. I'm just going to build it up. I do explain to her that I'm actually not knocking it out. That I just evolved and used the energy to attach. The attack to attach an energy here. So we're just seeing exactly what she could do. Stellar Wish seems pretty good to get set up a little bit. Her setup's been a little bit shaky. And I'm just putting my hand out to show her how many cards I have. It saves a lot of questions when players can clearly see what's going on your board. It's best to play is kind of clean as possible. That's what I say, like, just like everything's understandable to both sides. And especially in a case like this with Michelle's Polteageist deck, asking my hand size and trying to determine math, try to figure out exactly what's going on in the hand, especially with cards like Surprise Box. It makes it a lot easier to just lay your hand out like that. Just seeing what I want to do with Blaine's quiz show. Here, I think she actually, I actually don't remember which Pokemon she played down. It was, it was the Sinistea, or the Polteageist. So it didn't work. I'm allowing her to draw the cards. So the interesting transaction with that card is both Sinistea and Polteageist have the same Tea-Time attack. And with them both having the Tea-Time attack, even if you were to guess one right or the other one, like let's say if you honestly wanted to guess it, it'd make it very difficult for your opponent to guess the correct one. It gives them a 50-50% chance. So it's tough. So if you're actually trying to guess correctly on the Blaine's quiz show, it's not always going to be the most correct. Now, obviously, you could look into play and be like, okay, there's like 3 Sinesteas, 2 Polteageists, but Michelle could also use that information to use the odds in her favor. That being said, I don't really want to draw cards. And she used the Lavender Town here as well while I'm talking, and I just flip my hand over. It's like, let's make it easier. She's just going to sacrifice a Pokemon because doing 50 damage to me is cool, but I have the 3 Indeedee Vs that are able to heal all that damage. So I'm just going to play a Marnie. I only have 1 card in my hand. No use in shuffling that. Just want to make sure that there's I guess, Marnie, that's how it works. Offer your opponent your hand to cut before you put it at the bottom of your deck. And this is where the game kind of takes off for me, and it becomes worse and worse for Michelle. So I have the Giant Bomb. I want to look at her hand with the Lavender Town. Something that I really didn't do last game. Was playing a little bit lazy, to be fair. Where it's like I felt fully in control. I was like, okay, you want to know what? It doesn't necessarily matter that much. But here it's going to be really difficult for her. I have 3 cards in my hand. We know that she's not going to get the knockout. We know that if she is going to get in range of doing the knockout, she's going to have to go over the Giant Bomb and likely force herself into getting knocked out. She needs to build up as much damage as possible onto that Pokemon. So she's going to play 2 Surprise Boxes at once. And she's going to try to take as many useless cards that she can put back into my hands. So this is one of the ways that the deck can actually add damage. And it makes it really fun. I definitely say right now that the Polteageist deck, as it currently is built and with the current card pool, I'd say it's definitely one of those League fun decks. I would build a copy and play with some of the kids at League with it. That sounds like a fun idea. But to play against decks that have been seeing success in Japan already, like the Stonjourner VMAX deck, it definitely makes it a little bit more difficult. So she's getting set up here. Gonna go with this whole Stellar Wish. And we see another escape board, so that's going to be good to escape out of the sleep. There's the energy on the Polteageist. There's another surprise box. So I'm like, take my discard pile. You know it's good. Or maybe you don't, I don't know. There's not that many options that I have. Then she's just going to peek at my hand. We can see that I have, I believe it's 5 to do 250 damage. Just double checking on the Giant Bomb there. I'd probably do the same. It's not much of a common card. And I think we're going to see the largest Poltergeist that we've seen all game. Where it's going to go 3, 5, 250 damage. So I'm going to take 250. Now, she's going to get knocked out because of Giant Bomb. And Spell Tag will not be in effect because it is not damage of an attack. So lots of stuff going on there. It's kind of weird, but that's what I'm left with. So here, my goal is to thin out of my deck as much as possible, get rid of some trainer cards, and get out my 4th Indeedee V. So I just want to heal my Pokemon. And that's the goal, because this Pokemon's just going to be a huge tank. So getting my board set up, you can see that I have the Indeedee Vs, Pokegear, and there's the Mallow Lana. I'm sure Michelle in her mind is just like, are you serious? Zach's going to be able to heal 200 damage? If I had a fighting energy, I could heal 320 damage this turn. So this deck has a lot of healing potential. You're not really, like, it's weird to say that 200 damage is not much, but it's realistically not a crazy number nowadays. Just having a huge tanky Pokemon is super cool. Sure, we'll see other strategies work with this as well. For players who are entering into expanded tournaments, I could see this deck working with strong energy. You see, I just healed 200 damage there, easy. I'm gonna peep out her hands, maybe. Or I'm just gonna go Pokegear. It looked like I was about to use Lavender Town, but I think this is the point where it's like when you heal 200 damage, you're just chilling, big chilling. So, just shuffling. There's a lot of shuffling involved. It'd be nice to play a concept like this on PTCGO. Normally how my videos go, but we're waiting at the time of this video for the pre-releases to start in North America here. So there, I'm going to take my 3rd prize card of the game, get a big knockout, and leaving Michelle almost optionless because she's like, okay, everything that I used with the surprise boxes are kind of gone. Zach did a bunch of healing. We don't have that much opportunity. It is what it is. And that's just the sad reality of it sometimes. So, there's Alana's Fishing Rod. She can get back a Spell Tag and another Pokemon. Works out really nicely with this deck. And, yeah. So we see that everything's, it looks like she's able to attack with the Polteageist here this turn. But here we're going to go with Marnie. I have 3 cards in my hands. So she's trying to get me with a bunch of item trainer cards. It's nice that you don't have to like cut your opponent's deck or anything like that. Sure, there's got to be some weird case of Marnie when the decks get really thin. When we actually start experimenting more with those cards. Just gonna peek at my hand one more time, seeing that I have 2 in there. Then she's gonna hit me for 100. So bring my Stonjourner VMAX all the way up to 150 damage on it. And here I'm just going to try to get another Mallow Lana. That'd be pretty hype. And lighting's a little bit off from what I can tell. That looks like a Mallow Lana. Yep, there's a Mallow Lana. I'm like, I don't need Diancie here. Nothing's getting knocked out on this board. So I'm going to heal the 120, switch into an air balloon Indeedee V. Then I'm going to heal twice. So now everything that she's done is gone, and she's just placing the damage counters with Spell Tag, because I did get a knockout with an attack there. So from the way that we could see it, again, it's a frustrating situation to be in when your opponent just takes away every single thing that you do, down to 2 prize cards, and it's not even like if she knocks out my Stonjourner VMAX, she wins the game. It's only worth 3 prize cards here. On the other hand, her Pokemon are worth 1 prize card, and she does have a fighting resistant Gengar Mimikyu GX. So if she is able to put me into a really awkward position, she is able to get a knockout there. So we see that I have 2 in my hand. Just gonna retreat and then flip over a GX attack. So I just want to double check with her. I'm like, yep, we're both drawing up to 7 cards. You can see that she's just reading it. Just want to make sure that we're playing, because some of these cards are like, between being new or underrepresented in our metagame, it's a really odd battle between the decks. Something that I think if it was on regionals, definitely stream. So there, I'm just gonna heal my 40 damage on there, and I can't play any cards from my hands. I'm just gonna heal. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna heal. In case she had like any surprise boxes to get a knockout, I needed to do that. So Michelle here is like, oh, I totally thought Zach was gonna hit me for 190, but I don't think she'll be able to get the knockout. I think she does a decent bit of damage here. If I remember correctly, unfortunately we can't see what I have in my hand, but I'm like, let's just chill on that for a little bit. She could look at it with Lavender Town whenever she wants. And this is where the game gets a little bit spooky, because Horror House GX just means that like she could do a lot of stuff. Recently I was playing at a cup and I had an opponent who got me with a Horror House GX, and I lost the game because they were able to knock out my ADP out of nowhere. So she's just adding more cards back into my hands, trying to get that big knockout with Polteageist. And she still has the opportunity to build up another bench. The thing is that I found in this, playing in the Sword and Shield format, you can't really bring up your opponent's Pokemon as much as you'd like. There is Pokemon Catcher in the set, but it's not necessarily a fit for every single deck. So she's gonna look at my hand. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she was able to get the huge knockout. It is possible I didn't have the Giant Charm. If I had the Giant Charm, she would have been off by 10. So that's what makes it very spooky. I just wanted to see what's in her hand first before I play my martial arts dojo. There's the Giant Charm. There's a reset stamp. Her hand is, she just took 3 prize cards, so we know that it's all too big. And the VMAXs, yep, in case you're wondering, they are worth 3 prize cards. You know that Michelle was not able to take a knockout last game, but I'm sure that knockout this game was satisfying for her. Here I'm just going to discard a card with Aurora Energy to make sure that I'm able to thin my hand out of some trainer cards. Don't need that Guzmahala either. And I just want to search here for some other cards that we could grab. So grabbing a Stonjourner V, just thin out of the deck, seems fun. There's Cynthia and Caitlin. Maybe I should have saved the Quick Ball until after the Cynthia Caitlin to draw some extra cards that were to have a higher percentage chance of drawing cards that were not trainer cards, but I wasn't particularly worried about her hitting me for like 7 here. Or I guess 8. She'd have to hit for 8. So there's 190. I'm doing 200 plus 10 from Martial Arts Dojo. So 210 minus 20 from the resistance there on the Gengar Mimikyu. And she's at the mercy of whatever the hand is. So there's a switch. And that Gengar Mimikyu is going to be nestled at, like, in the bench. I guess she's assuming I don't play Great Catcher at this point. And, yep, just getting more set up. There's another Polteageist. It's one of those things where it's, you know, by hand size alone, that if I don't have 7 cards, or I guess in this case you need 8 cards to do 400 damage, because I have 360 HP with a Giant Charm. It is, it's an uphill battle, so with 2 prize cards left, maximum that she could do is 250, and we know that I could heal. It's just, I'm not going to let my second one get knocked out. She used her GX attack, she got my first Stonjourner VMAX, and I'm just going to protect my resources the best I possibly can. And, yep, you can see that she's getting the spell tag, searching through her deck, making sure that she has everything possible. I think she knows that it's coming down to the crunch. I'm sure it's a minor victory that she took the one knockout there. And I think we're going to see a Polteageist here. So there's 1, 2, 2 total. So there's 100. And I just want to be very cautious of anything else that she could do here. So first and foremost, my goals are to heal everything that I possibly can. You can see that I have Mallow Lana. just going to heal everything. Send up an air ballooned Indeedee V. So it's a nice pivot point there. Just start building up an Indeedee V. And I'm just going to take the knockout. She's going to place 40. And I'm down to 1 prize card. So we can see the game quickly coming to a close. Just going to use her Stellar Wish, trying to figure out exactly how she could hit me for 320. Believe from what it looks like at my hand size, I have 3 cards in my hand. So she'd have to find a way for me to draw 4 cards that are all trainer cards. If I had all trainer cards in my hand already. So it's kind of an impossible task. Put the spell tag on the Gengar Mimikyu just in case she gets there. And then she's going to be like, Blaine's Quiz Show, putting a card down. For me, I just jokingly said, oh, I think she said slap with Jirachi. And I'm like, Malamar, knowing it's a Jirachi. So I feel bad that I'm like, knowingly not playing towards what the card's pure intentions are. But we got to display our strategy whenever possible. I don't want her to knock out this Stonjourner VMAX for a whole bunch of damage. But it shows the power if you unknowingly walk into a Blaine's Quiz Show. So we can see that the Gengar Mimikyu, she's going to look, and there's 100 damage. And then I just knock it back out. So that's what we got going on for this game. As always, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more awesome videos. You can go to patreon.com/rarecandytcg and totally sign up. Other ways that you can help us out is going to rarecandytcg.com, pick up some sweet swag/merch. And as for me, I'm Zach Lesage. You could follow me on Twitter at ZLesagePokemon. Check me out on there. That being said, that is it for today. Again, I hope you enjoyed it all. That's it, everyone. Have yourself a great one. Bye.